Hey everyone, today is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to take you on a little behind the scenes tour of my workspace and how I actually film and make my YouTube videos. So anyway, let's talk about how I actually record the videos that I make. I'm currently using an iPhone 15 Pro to do all the video work that you've been seeing for the past couple months probably or so. And I actually do all of my video editing on an iPad mini 6. And the reason for that is that it's very fast to transfer videos from the phone to the iPad. I can take that little iPad anywhere I want. So if I'm waiting for a piano lesson to finish up or something like that, I can do editing there in the car or wherever I'm waiting. And it's very easy to take with you and pull out and do some editing work on that iPad. So that's currently my setup that I use just because of convenience. Now I do have a DSLR I can use as well, but nonetheless, it's a lot less convenient to use this than it is to use the iPhone. So I don't use it that much, but occasionally I do bring it out for certain types of work that I need to record. But my iPhone rig is actually a little bit more complicated than you might expect. In fact, I'll record that here with this camera. First of all, you can see the back of the iPhone. The back of the iPhone, of course, does much better video quality on those cameras than the ones on the selfie camera. And so I, of course, always use that. But then you can't see the screen and see what you're recording. So I actually have my iPad mini here set up behind it. And that allows me to use it as a monitor so I can see what I'm recording on the iPhone screen by having that iPad set up behind it. Now it's recording now for this video, but it's not normally recording anything. It's normally just kind of sitting there so I can view it and see what is what on my iPhone screen. But you can see here my actual rig for my iPhone is kind of complicated. I have this small rig set up that the iPhone is basically mounted onto at this point, attached to a Manfrotto tripod. And I do have handles on either side of that so I can take off this whole rig and then easily hold it steady for doing certain shots. So basically I have the USB hub connected to the iPhone and all this stuff stays here on this rig. And so all I do is pop the iPhone in the rig, plug in this one cable, and then I have my Shure microphone is attached. I have an external battery that's attached so I don't drain my iPhone when I'm doing videos. And then I also have an external SSD attached to this hub that is in turn attached to the iPhone through this USB-C cord here. So it's kind of a quick drop-in setup. I just pop the iPhone into the stand here and then I'm ready to record. And again, I record everything in the garage, and this is the garage space that I have. And normally I have a car sitting here and a car sitting here. So I have to pull the cars out when I do the recording, at least one of them. But you can see here what my overall setup looks like. There's bikes always hanging over my head when I do my videos, but I have some storage shelves there. There's the 2x4 foot layout project, which I'm currently working on. And then I have my workbench area nestled here in the corner. Behind the curtain there, I have my 1x6 foot HO scale switching layout, and then lots of storage shelves for different supplies. I have my storage cart here with materials that I'm using on the 2x4 foot layout right now, as well as my foam cutter, one of my 3D printers. The wheel thing there is for drying filament. Then I have my laser cutter next to that, and my big wall of paints and scenery materials, and then all my DeWalt tools there in a nice rack. Now I do have a lot of lights now. I do have, besides a central bright garage light, I do have 2 video lights there mounted to the ceiling, another video light here that's mounted to a boom arm that I can swing around and move to different areas. Then I have another video light over my desk, and of course just a bright light overall on top of it. Actually, I have 2 lights there. Now above my desk I have just this little handy clamp. I can actually just clamp my phone to that and do top-down shots over my desk. By far the biggest problem I have is the audio here in the garage. And so one of the projects I want to work on this year is addressing the audio in the garage. And so I have some ideas of how I'm going to do that. I do plan to put acoustic panels on the back of the garage door, which should help a lot, I think, because I'm usually talking in the direction of the garage door. And that way the sound waves will get absorbed by those panels and then they won't bounce around off the floor and everything else. And I'll probably just get some things I can roll out, like a little carpet I can roll out for the floor when I'm working here, and then roll it back up, when the car's in the garage, so I'm not getting oil on it or whatever else. But, that way I can just sort of manage the sound a little bit better in here. And I might even do like a curtain on a track system that I can kind of slide around to help with the sound dampening as well. So that's one of the bigger projects I have for this year. That's going to be just in terms of trying to improve quality, is just dealing with that audio situation of the garage being very echoey. I actually do all of my video editing using my iPad mini 6, which is plenty powerful enough to do 4K video editing with multiple tracks. Overall, it works really well, and it's a very easy to use video editing software. And you can get Final Cut Pro, which is what I used to use prior to using my iPad and LumaFusion. You can get that on the iPad now too, and that's much more powerful than LumaFusion. But LumaFusion is really good. It's only like $30. You can do almost everything you can do in Final Cut Pro. There are some limitations. It's not as powerful by any means, but for 95% of the work that you're going to do, you can do it just fine. You can add LUTs and do all kinds of color grading and everything else too. So all those things you can do. Again, you can add multiple video tracks, audio tracks, all kinds of special transitions and everything else you want to do. You can do all that in there, and it's pretty easy to use, and I like it. And again, editing takes by far the longest amount of time, so you have to find ways to streamline your entire workflow so you can get everything done faster, because it takes longer to edit the videos by far than it does to do the project and record it. So that's always the biggest time commitment, is doing the editing. And a lot of times the videos aren't as good as I'd like, just because it's Monday evening and I got the video coming out at 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and it's like, well, I gotta get it done. So I don't have the ability all the time to do as much as I would like with that weekly cadence, but at least by recording everything like I do, it allows me to do that weekly cadence with my lifestyle that I have right now, and get that time where I have it to do the editing. So anyway, that's just how I do my recordings. A look at my workspace, and it's small, it's in the garage, there's a lot here going on, but it works for me, and that's what I have available for me right now. So again, if you don't have a lot of space, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of equipment, there are ways around that. Just use your phone on a tripod with a microphone, get some lights in here in a garage or a spare room, find a corner somewhere you can do some work with a desk or wherever else, and start going to it. And you can eventually, over time, add little bits of things, extra lights, extra of this, extra that, to help gradually improve the quality as you go along. So yeah, it's all about trying to get a little bit better every single time. And so that's what I try to do. And so anyway, that's just a look at how things are done here on Steve's Trains. Anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.